Welcome to Superstuds World. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate all of you guys. Today's very first segment of Lezbehonest Chronicles is no description needed. Let's just jump right into it, okay? I was born August in 1987 in Chicago, Illinois, in the heart of the Puerto Rican society called Hummel Park. And we lived on Rockwell and Cortez. And let me just pause real quick, just so you guys know, I'm starting off my first videos. So I got cue cards and I got stuff in front of me so that way, you know, I don't cuss too much. And I had to change some people's names just for privacy reasons. We already talked about that. So bear with me, guys, okay? Thank you. So yes, so we lived on Rockwell and Cortez. We lived in this 3-floor building. On the very first floor was my mom and me. On the second floor was the family that took me in as their own. I love you guys to death. I ride for y'all so hard, it's not even crazy. It's not even funny, sorry, it's crazy. On the very third floor was somebody that my mom said we didn't even talk to. So yeah. Anyways, by the time I got to 9 months, I was blessed to be able to be introduced to my very best friend, my cousin, my Bia, Vani. She's been with me through everything in life as just as much as our family has. You know, we have such a support system that we're so tight, and it's amazing. It really is. We're all really tight. We're all crazy together. And I love all you guys. Tita Jackie, Tita Lily, Gabriel, Abuelo David. I know you're out there somewhere. I love you. Christina, Chiari, Michael, Matthew, I love you guys. You guys don't understand. I gotta send a shout out to you people because you guys have been with me through so much. It's crazy. I love you guys so much. And don't worry, there's much more family you guys are gonna be introduced to soon enough as we continue with this video. So let me continue. I was basically raised with my mom because my parents were separated when I was younger. Between both of them, I have quite a few brothers and sisters, like a lot. I love all of you guys. Yeah, I just love all of you guys. And it was great, you know. I had all these brothers and sisters, and I had my mom. I still talk to my dad. And even though, you know, he wasn't physically there, he was still there if we ever needed him. He was a phone call away, you know. So yeah, so I lived with my mom, and, you know, it was great. I had all these people, all these women around me who were such great influences, who were so strong, you know, and it was just great. It really, really was. My childhood was great. I didn't need anything. I was a spoiled brat. Yes, I was. And thank you, Mom. I appreciate you. You've always done what you could for me, beyond what you can, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let me see. If I don't look at these papers, like I was telling you guys, I will just ramble on. Sorry. So, where was I? So yeah, so I had this family upstairs, and you know, back then at that time, my mom was comfortable enough not to lock the doors, which we found out was a big mistake with my aunts and my uncles and everybody upstairs, because they like to do a lot of pranks. And let's say my mom was cleaning, we were napping, whatever the case may be, they would come downstairs, they would secretly take me back upstairs, and they would do all these crazy things to me. One time my mom came upstairs and I had a piece of aluminum foil sticking out of my hair, and when she took it off, I had a blonde streak, okay? Yeah, I'm not gonna say that my mom was crazy about it, but, excuse me. But yeah, another time I was dressed up. Apparently I had this nice little dress on or something like that. And again, they took me upstairs and they let me have at it with all of these Oreos. And I would show you guys pictures, but that's not even something that's cool to put out there like that. I look like Cookie Monster's baby. So yeah, so you know, I've always had all these great people around me all the time. So I've never lacked love. I've always been loved, and all these people have always been so great to me. I have my godmother and my cousins, and, goodness, I've always been around so many people that love me, and it was great. So, let's see. By the time I was 6, we had already moved. My family upstairs, they had moved their own way, and we moved to a different spot. And, I was 6, so I was already starting school, and, I was making all these new friends, and I happened to make a friend who lived in the same building as me. And I had my very first experience with a girl so young. We actually would play house, and it was very few times that it happened, but she would tell me, hey, I'm gonna be the mom, you're gonna be the dad. And I never questioned playing that role, and to be quite honest, I was very comfortable in playing that role, and self-consciously I knew that I was learning things about myself with not being nervous and being comfortable in this role. And again, I was really, really young though, so I didn't say anything. I kept it to myself, and I just took it as it came. All these experiences, and so I remember her actually being like, okay, we're gonna go to sleep. She would tell her sister that was playing outside with us, and so I would go, and I remember getting this blanket. It was like this white sheet with like green leaves all over it and stuff. I remember so vividly what it looked like. And I remember throwing it on the back porch right underneath the stairs to go up to the second floor. And we laid down and we covered ourselves with the other half. And, to her sister, she thought we were sleeping, because we were playing this game. But underneath the covers, we were like sneaking these little kisses, wasn't all gross. We weren't perverted just yet, So it was just these little kisses, and I was okay with it. I didn't question it. It didn't make me nervous. I was very comfortable, and it happened about maybe 2 more times after that, and but that's it. They ended up moving, and that was it. I didn't really do anything else after that for a little while, till the summer came actually, and I had my second experience. My older sister had her friend sleep over, and her friend brought her little sister with her so that I can have somebody to play with. I'm sure they didn't want us killing their buzz, talking to the boys or whatever. So yeah, and my parents were out, but my sister was old enough to be watching us. She was like 20, but she looked like she was 30. I'm just kidding. I love you. And so yeah, so me and the girl, we went to my parents' room, and we started to. I remember vividly being in a Dago, which is what is it, like an A shirt? Yeah, an A shirt. So I remember being in a shirt like that, and she was on the bed, and I remember her telling me, to come lay down with her. So I went and I laid down with her, and we were watching this movie, and she kissed me, and I like looked at her, and then she kissed me again, but this time she kissed me on the lips, so I kissed her back, and I thought to myself, this is not the first time that it's happening, and I don't feel weird. I feel okay. I feel very okay. I was very in tune with what I was feeling, but for some reason, I knew that it wasn't okay to talk about just yet. I was really, really young, so I wasn't sure who to talk to. I didn't know who to tell. I wasn't sure who was gonna judge me, or who was gonna say that, no, you can't do that, you're gonna get in trouble. I didn't want to hear that, so I kept it to myself. And so unfortunately after that, I never seen her again. But life happens, everybody moves, and whatever. So, mind you, that happened in the summer, and after school had started that year, I happened to go through the first of my many life trials. And I was sexually abused by someone, and it wasn't just once, it wasn't just him, it wasn't by the same person. I was young as hell, man. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to tell. I was confused. I was upset that somebody thought it was okay to do that. But at the same time, I was scared to tell anybody. I didn't know if I was going to be in trouble. Even though it wasn't my fault, I didn't know. You don't know at a young age when something like that happens to you, you don't know what to think, and, it's just the way that it happened. There was an adult not too far away, okay, and you were supposed to be okay. You were supposed to be safe right there. And to have that taken away from you, it sucks. It's not okay. And so, after that first initial time that happened, a little time later, I seen this person talking to another boy who lived in my building. And, after seeing them talk, the very next day was a Saturday. I remember like it was yesterday. It was a Saturday afternoon. I went outside to go play, especially because some new kids had moved into the building, so I was hoping to catch them outside, but that's not what happened, unfortunately. I was met by that boy that was, that lives in my building, and he called me over to the other side of the building, by a basement. And so when we went into the basement, we didn't go inside the basement. It was like where the stairs are at, that's like encased with cement all around it. And I remember him telling me to lay down, and I laid down, and I remember feeling how wet and cold the cement was. I remember the metal on my back. I remember feeling it. I remember how uncomfortable I was, and, I remember him wearing these jean shorts because they were like scratching the hell out of my legs because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And why would he? He was so young, And so he attempted to penetrate, but he wasn't successful. But he didn't know that he wasn't successful because he continued to ask me, am I in? Don't lie to me. If you lie to me, I'm going to get mad. And so, I told him, I was like, yeah, you're in there. I just wanted it to be over as quick as possible. And by the grace of God, thank God, somebody came outside and called him, and he had to get up, and he told me, if I said anything that I would get in trouble. So, it's like, I'm thinking to myself, you weren't able to succeed, why didn't you just stop? You knew that you weren't able to, but thank God somebody came, somebody called him, and it was over, I was able to get up, I was able to walk, I was okay. I kept a lot to myself. I didn't know what was gonna get me in trouble back then. So I kept a lot to myself. And I went inside, and I thought to myself, for being so young, I thought to myself, I'm okay. I'm not dead, but it's not okay that it happened. It's definitely not okay. Who are you? Who are you to do that? It's nobody gave you permission. That's not okay. And if you know anybody that's going through that, please speak up. Please help them. help them. On the description box below, sorry guys, in the description box below, I'll be leaving you guys all the phone numbers and all the links that you guys need to contact anybody. You're not alone. Don't ever think that you are, because you're not. And if you think that you are, you can hit me up. You know, I don't care what time it is. I'll leave you guys my contacts down there. Please, you know, don't ever feel like you're alone, because you're not. You're not. And if I can just help one person know that they're not alone, then you know what? Then that's starting somewhere. And if you can do that for somebody, if you can be somebody's help, if you can be somebody's hero, do it. You know, just do it. Be there, be available, you know, notice the signs. So yeah, make sure you guys all copy those numbers, those links, all that information that I leave down there. Copy it, screenshot it, put it on Facebook, Instagram. Be available. Let people know. Sorry guys, had to take a 2-second break. I just had to collect myself. Like I said, take those numbers, take those links, post them up, man. Be there, okay? Let's continue. So yeah. Soon after that, thank God, we ended up moving. We moved 3 more times to be exact. My mom was actually in a head-on collision. And thank goodness she was okay. She fought through it. She walked again. She was good. And she, with that money that she got from suing old boy, by the way, don't drink and drive. It's not cool. Don't do it. Don't let your friends do it. Don't drive tipsy. Nothing. Call somebody. Walk. Please don't let nobody drink and drive. It is not okay. It's not cool. All right? Yeah. So she was able to buy the building with the money, and that's where I've been living since up until last summer of 2015. If those walls could talk, man, they will tell you more than I'm about to. That's for sure. So yeah, so we moved and so obviously, you know, that it involves going to a brand new school. And when I went to this new school, I was experiencing my very first crush on a teacher. Her name was Miss Perez. She was hot, yo. For being a teacher, I ain't never seen a teacher that hot, let me tell you. But I'm in the 6th grade, and she's an 8th grade teacher. I was lucky enough to be placed in her class because I was advanced in reading, and she was an 8th grade reading teacher. And so I went to her classroom. I was with the older kids, the older crowd, and with her, and she was just so cool and so laid back. It was really easy to talk to her, and you know, she was just, man, she was great. You don't understand. She had this smile that can light up a room, and man, okay. So anyways, I would make sure that I would sit right in the front of the class just to be next to her. And even some days I would make her like these homemade cards and stuff like that. And we would read and stuff like that. And you know, she was one of those teachers where she would come around you, you know, if you're having a hard time, she'd put her hand on your shoulder, and I'd be like, oh my God, you know, like, she's touching me, she's touching my shoulder. Yes, you know. And so yeah, so obviously when we had moved, it was in the middle of the school year, so the summer came really, really fast. I was only in her class for about 4 to 5 months, and the summer came fast. So the following year, I was like, hopefully I'm in her class again. I was so excited, and I get there, and she's not there, dude. I was like, what? She went to another school. I felt so betrayed. I thought that we had a connection. I thought that she knew that she was going to teach me, like, forever. But she didn't want to. That's okay. That's cool. So anyways, I didn't really do anything after that up until 8th grade. And mind you, I was still questioning myself. I was still nervous. I didn't know if what I was doing, if what I was feeling was okay. So, so I actually started to talk to a boy, and he was in the all Spanish speaking class, and I was not. Yes, I'm Hispanic, but at that time, my Spanish was it was not so good. Okay, it was not so good. No muy bueno, and his English was no bueno at all. Like it was really, really choppy. I don't know how we conversated. I don't know how we understood each other, but we did. And plus, making out doesn't involve you guys speaking. So yeah, we didn't have to. Anyways, I was with him for just a few months, and can you believe that this jerk broke up with me? I don't remember why, so don't ask me. But yeah, so he broke up with me, and I was like, dude, that's how you feel? Like, really? But anyways, soon enough, graduation was right around the corner. And when graduation was right around the corner, you know how you guys get these little books that all your friends get to sign, put their numbers, farewell, all these best wishes, whatever the case is. So I took it to the Spanish class because they had been switching us around like you did in high school. They were preparing us. So I got to know a few of the people in this all Spanish speaking class. And so with doing so, when I brought my book over there, he gave it back to me when everybody was done. And when I was walking away, he was like, check the last page. So I go to my homeroom and I check the last page, and he's basically telling me, do good in high school, don't get any Fs. And at the very bottom, he's like, P.S., do you want to be my girlfriend? In Spanish, ¿quieres ser mi novia? And, I wasn't right in front of him at the moment, so I was waiting till lunchtime to tell him something. So lunchtime comes, and boom, I see him, and I was like, that's fine. We can go out. Not a problem. So that didn't last at all, because in the middle of the summer, he ended up leaving back to Mexico, and boom, that was it. Done with that. So you already know, high school comes. It's a brand new year. And I go into high school, and my very first few days there, this girl comes up to me and she's like, can I ask you a question? And I'm sitting at the lunchroom table by myself. I'm a freshman, and she's older than me. I can tell that she's older than me. So she's like, can I ask you a question? And I was like, sure. So she was like, do you like girls? And for somebody who didn't know me to ask me that, I was scared. I didn't know if it was okay to say yes. So I was really nervous. I didn't know what to do, so I panicked and I said no. And she kind of laughed and she looked at me and she's like, don't worry, you will. And I'm thinking to myself, so it's noticeable. You can tell that I like girls. Is it okay? I was so nervous, I was still questioning myself. I had just made out with, boys, this one boy, and, even before that, it was just little kisses with girls. Man, it was nothing compared to what was yet to come, So, I'm in my freshman year of high school again, and so I'm sitting there, and, this girl's statement it keeps going in my head and going in my head. And I'm like, I have to say something. I have to be okay. I don't know what to do. So, back at home outside of high school, I decided that, I was gonna give it another chance. I didn't know if just kissing was it. I didn't know what else was involved in being in a relationship. And I was very aware that, that things were going to get questioned if I wasn't sure. So I went on and I had a relationship with another guy. And while I was with him, in a few months, I decided, I want to know what it is to be with a guy. What's the fuss all about, And so I had all these older friends in high school who were already having sex and stuff like that. By the way, if you're younger than 18, don't do it. And if you are, please use a condom and talk to your parents about, getting, pills and stuff, and just don't do it. Okay. So I decided to have sex with him. And when I had sex with him, it wasn't for me. It lasted about 2 minutes. I wasn't comfortable at all. I'm not digging the package. It was not cool. It wasn't for me. I wasn't cool with it. So I told him to stop, and he did. He didn't fuss about it. He didn't give me any issues, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, he was real comfortable with himself, and he asked me to make him a sandwich, and I had to ask him to leave after that. So, anyways, so yeah, so it wasn't for me. I wasn't okay with it. And right afterwards, I went right across the street to my friend Melissa's house, and Melissa and her mom were there. And I told her, I remember sitting at the table, and I was like, do I look different? And she was like, why? And I was like, just, do I look different? I didn't know. I was inexperienced. I didn't know who to talk to. Again, I was experiencing all these things by myself, but then again, I'm a very private person. So please, if you need to speak to somebody, speak to somebody. You don't have to keep it to yourself. So I went over to Melissa's, and I told her, and I told her, I was like, I had sex. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah. So I told her all about it. I told her about how it lasted for like 2 minutes, and and she was like, well, did you like it? And I was like, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. And I told her how I felt about girls. I thought, if I can tell her about losing my virginity, then maybe she's my friend enough not to judge me if I tell her that I like girls. And fortunately enough for me, she's an amazing friend. I still talk to her, and she supported me. She was amazing. Her mother's amazing. They were both there for me when I needed them to be. Not that anybody else couldn't be, but you never know who you can talk to first. And at that moment, it was them. And I thank you guys so much for being there for me. And so she actually told me that she had a sibling who was gay. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. And when I met her sibling, they told me that they had a partner, whatever the case is, and I was able to see how they were together, and to just see how they were so free and so carefree. They didn't care what anybody said about them, and they were just so loving and normal, and it was beautiful. And it was so good to see. It was so good to see people like me, because deep down inside, I knew what I liked, but because I didn't want to doubt myself, and I didn't want to keep questioning myself, that's why I did it. That's why I went through with it, and I had sex with him, but yeah, so it was great. So I felt comfortable. I was like, hey, I tried it, I did it, it's not my cup of tea, so guess what? Now I get to do what I really want. Now I know that I don't like it, and I can move forward, and I can do what I do like. I can try what I do want. So I did. Sophomore year happened to come, and me and my friend joined this program where you could work, basically. And it was, you get paid to have fun. And that's exactly what I did. I had a lot of fun at these programs, and me and my friend happened to walk into this one, and it's a writing class. And for those of you who don't know, I love to write. I write poetry. If I can, I'll write my own type of songs, whatever the case is, but poetry more than anything. So we go into this class, and my friend's not really digging it too much, so she decides not to come back. The witch ditches me, okay? And I'm left there by myself, and before anything, as soon as we had walked in, I noticed this Amy chick, all right? I noticed her sitting there, and I automatically don't like her. By the way, it's not okay to judge a book by its cover. Not cool. Don't do it. However, I was it was high school. I was trying to be the cool guy, and I wasn't a lame. Know that. But yeah, Amy just didn't look like she would be my friend, and I just didn't like her face at the moment. She looked like she was stuck up. So a few days later, we happened to be in this project together, me, Amy, and somebody else. And our project is to explain how the cream filling inside of the Twinkies gets there. And don't ask me what the story was. I have no idea. But what I do remember is I got really close with Amy at that time. You know, when we did that project, it brought us a closer. We were really honest with each other, actually. She actually told me that it looked like I would beat her up. And I told her that I didn't like her face. That, to be exact, I told her she looked like a bitch. Excuse my French. I'm sorry. But that's exactly what we thought of each other. And we were very honest, and we told each other, So it made it even better. We got that off our chest, and we became really, really cool. So in the midst of this work program, that was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, on Tuesdays, there was this group that was created that was called the Gay Straight Alliance. And the Gay Straight Alliance was basically a whole bunch of kids who were just like me, who were questioning themselves or who were sure of themselves, or stray kids who just wanted to let their gay friends know that they were there for them. It was amazing, man. It was absolutely great. And so I would go to these classes, and, I went 2 or 3 times, and in those 2 or 3 times, I felt so comfortable. It felt so good to know that people who were just like me, my age, they were able to talk about it. They were able to be free. It was great. We were able to be ourselves, and it was okay. Even the teacher was gay. It was great. Everybody was just themselves and okay. And it wasn't a secret. It didn't have to be a secret. And I was like, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to come out. I know that I can come out to my friends easier than my family, which I did, a little while later. But I was so happy, and I was so comfortable with all these people that I was meeting, and I wanted to keep them in my life. So, so I wanted to tell my really close friends who I was already really tight with. I was comfortable. They were helping me to be able to come out. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate you guys so much. And so the next time I went to my after school work, me and Amy were actually on our way to a play. We were on a field trip with the rest of our work group. And the whole ride there, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to tell her? She was my first friend that I was actually going to sit there and tell, hey, I'm going to these group meetings, and this is what I am. I was really nervous to tell her, but I was really proud to tell her, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm finally going to be myself. And so we're getting off the bus, and I remember, like, hey, I'm going to be going to these Gay Straight Alliance meetings on Tuesdays. And basically it's for people who are gay or bisexual, or, if you're straight, and you just want to be there for your gay friends. And, I just want to let you know that, I'm not going to hit on you, so don't worry. And she looked at me, and deep inside, I had like this thing stuck in my throat when she looked at me. And she just stared at me, and she was like, that doesn't mean I'm not going to hit on you. And I'll tell you next week if she did, though. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. And please make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can tune in next week. And you can hear some more if Amy was a chicken and she didn't hit on me, or if she was a boss and she did. We're going to find out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Please subscribe. I want to be able to share some more with you guys. I love you. Thank you so much. You guys have a good one. Till the next time that you come to Superstuds World. Bye.